Amazing grace shall always be my song of praise. For it was grace that bought my liberty. Oh, Lord. Okay, so I just got my onion sets in. I ordered them through Home Depot. The, what's the name of that company? Burpee. I don't insert it, it's the wrong thing, but they're nice. They're not dried out, they're still moist, they're still soft. And we're gonna plant these all around the garden. Now, Brian is filming me, and he and I don't like onions. But we're gonna plant these all around the garden where we know that pests, non-beneficial insects will attack our crops, like tomatoes, squash. I'm videotaping Lisa and onions. Our tomatoes are getting flowers on them now, so very soon I'm going to prune them and I'll show you how I do it. But first, before they get any larger, I'm putting these bamboo stakes towards the center of each plant. As you can see, I'm doing here. I have to move the mulch out the way a little bit because it's hard to get it to go through the mulch. But I want it close to the base of the plant, just like that. And I'll be able to start training it to go up the bamboo stake, and the branches will go out to the tomato cage. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I'm going to show you how to prune your tomatoes to keep you from getting tomato blight, which is soil-borne. It's a common disease among tomatoes, and you can easily ward it off by not letting your tomatoes touch the ground. Now, let me show you. Let me go down a little bit closer. When I planted them, I cut off all the bottom leaves, but as you can see, they continue to grow. So now I'm gonna take these leaves off. I'm gonna try to have about 5 inches for a container plant, free of branches, so that when it rains or the wind moves it or splashes the rain up against the tomatoes, it won't be on the leaves. So I think you can see this pretty good. I'm going to lift up any branch that's touching the mulch. So I'm going to take this one off. And before I do that, let me show you what a sucker is. Just turn this a little bit. You see this branch right here? And you see another branch right over there, right in the middle of it. You see that where there's a V? That is your sucker. I'm gonna take that off because that's gonna be weak anyway. And we don't need it because it's too low too. And so I'm gonna cut it off right there. Then I'm gonna check my video to see if you're getting what I want you to see. So I'm removing suckers and I'm removing low hanging branches. I'm gonna take this one completely off. I'm gonna remove this one. It may seem like, wow, why is she taking all that off? But trust me, I've been doing this for 40 years, 40. And you're gonna get a stronger plant, a bushier plant, and more tomatoes. So I'm going over here, and I'm gonna take off this low branch. I'm gonna take off this one. And I'm trying to prune where I have one major stem where I showed you I put this bamboo stake in here, and I'm gonna tie it together. And I'm gonna take off. It's a lot of tomatoes right there, but I don't care. I don't care about the small amount of tomatoes that I'm pruning. I care about the overall health of the plant. And I'm gonna take this sucker off as well. I took a sucker off here, I took a sucker off here, and Yeah. And this one's kind of low, so I'm going to take it off as well. And now I think I have this plant the way I want it. Now, since I cleaned all of this out here, I took a piece of crochet yarn and I secured the plant at the bottom. And I'm going to bring it all the way up. Let me see if you can see that. I'm going to bring it all the way toward the top of the bamboo stick. What's good about using the yarn is that it's real stretchable. And so it won't cut into this plant because this stem here is going to get much thicker, kind of like a tree. And yeah, it's doing exactly what I want it to do. I want the leaves to extend out over the tomato cage. I'm gonna tuck this one in before it gets too stiff. Okay, that's exactly what I want. Now I'm gonna do the rest of them and I'm gonna come back and show you. Okay, as you can see here, I did these 2 tomatoes. This was a little windy one. I started in my hydroponics and I did this to the Parks Whopper to get that leaf out the way. This is a really strong tomato. I did leave a couple of these suckers on right in here. I'm gonna watch it and see what happens. And I'll probably end up trimming them off if I think it's too much weight, because that's supposed to be a big tomato. Yeah, it's 85 degrees out here, guys. It's April the 4th, 85 degrees. So I had to let up my little umbrella over here because I didn't realize it was that hot. I have pruned all of the tomatoes and I'm gonna show you here is all of the branches that I pruned. Now, if I was in my food forest, I would strip these bottom leaves off of here, root these in water, and this will turn into a plant just as big as the plant that it came from. But I don't have the room, so it has to go into the compost. You see, the tomatoes have the ability to produce roots all along the stem. So they are very, very easy to clone. And like I said, I just don't have the room. So off to the compost. Right here, I'm just sharing with you some of the tomatoes that I have grown in the past, different varieties, all heirlooms, so they have odd shapes that you wouldn't buy in the grocery store, but they taste delicious. I can my tomatoes to make pasta sauce, marinara sauce, and just tomato juice, tomato paste, or just plain tomato sauce. This summer, I'm going to be passing down what I learned from my mom and grandmother to my daughter, and we're going to can some pasta sauce. But in the meantime, please check out my playlist for canning, and you'll see how I preserve tomatoes. Here are my okra seedlings. I started from the direct sow method of about a month ago. They've been stalled because it's been too cool for them. But I lost some. But I do see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put 3 more seeds over here and see what happens. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm putting my finger where the seeds are. That's 2 and that's 3. And this is crimson spineless okra. And I'm just going to barely put a little soil right there on top. 2 or 3 of them will be okay. And then I'm going to go over to here where I've been telling you guys I'm going to plant some okra. And I'm not going to videotape that. I'm going to do it the same way I just did. Be sure to water your seeds every day for the first 3 or 4 days to keep them nice and moist. It's windy out here. Keep them nice and moist so that they can germinate quicker. Okay? Don't need a lot of water. You don't have to flood them. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to do the whole 25-gallon container. I got a question about these containers in my last video. I love them. I got them from eBay. They are very tolerant of cold weather and heat. So I'm just making sure that I lightly saturate every area so the seeds will come up. A few years ago, I started growing beans in a basket. I had never seen anybody do it before. And now I see a lot of people doing it. I do this to help people. If you have limited space, if you have like a patio, you live in an apartment, you're in a balcony maybe, you just want to put your beans down about 1 inch. And I put about 5 to a basket. You don't want to overcrowd it because you won't have enough root. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll put 1 in the middle. And then I'll just lightly cover them up and pat them down. And then I'll water it in. Beans in a basket. The beans I just planted in the hanging basket are Blue Lake 274. They're bush type. And I'm going to also plant some here. Now this 15-gallon container is, really too large for these beans. But I have it and the soil is available. I'm going to plant these a little bit more densely since I have a lot of room in the basket. Or in the container, I should say. You can pre-soak your beans. This time of year I don't. And this will be considered succession planting because I have another 25-gallon container of the same beans over there. Let me try to go in closer. And you can see the green coming up to the top of the 25-gallon container. So I'm just going to cover these up. Cover them up real nicely. Pat down. And then I'll give it some water along with the basket that I just planted. Here are my worm castings. It's a Gold Plus brand. And not only does it have worm castings, it also has rock dust that has a lot of minerals and kelp. Okay? No chemicals in here. It's a really rich organic matter that I'm adding to my beds because I didn't do a lot to them because I didn't plant anything last fall and they already had compost, homemade and black cow. So you see where I put this container in here? This is the one that I grew hydroponically. The wind has been messing with the leaves, but it's okay. It's going to be okay. I'm going to open this up, put a handful of worm castings with the rock dust and kelp in here, and just slip this out of the container. I don't have anybody out here filming for me, so I'll try to do it with one hand. I don't know if I can, but I'll try. So I'm just going to add a little small handful in the hole. It can't burn the plant. It won't hurt it. And then I'm going to try to squeeze this out if I can. If I can't, I'll just put the camera down and pull it out. Yeah, I better use 2 hands. So isn't that cool? Look at that root system. All started in the hydroponic system. So I'm just going to try to ease it down in there. And that's it, folks. Isn't that cool? I did that in March. And we're going to let it grow up the trellis and also the tomato cage. I have the 3 cucumber seedlings in the holes. And now I'm going to spread more of the worm castings with the kelp and the rock dust all across the top, and then just add more mulch. Right there you can see where I put the worm castings with the azomite rock dust and the kelp, and I also put it in with the strawberries. I didn't bother with the flowers. They'll be okay, but I'm going to mulch the cucumbers and the flowers real good. My last bag of mulch. So you might be wondering, well, why didn't she move the mulch out of the way? It'll break down. It'll all be organic matter breaking down, so it'll be okay. Okay, I'm not gonna show you all of that. I'll just show it to you when I'm finished because it's very easy to do. Okay, so everything is mulched in real nice with the cucumbers and marigolds. And I mulched around the zinnias. They're gonna be so pretty, guys. And don't forget, a few days ago, I added a couple seeds in here. It'll pop through the mulch. And I just put just a little mulch around the bare spots where the onions is gonna come up in here. And of course, you know, I added some worm casting gold plus to the strawberries. Everybody's working on their yard. I hope I don't have to do a voiceover. I'm gonna speak up a little bit louder. Okay, so now I'm gonna move to my peppers and plant some onions all around my peppers. And forgot to tell you, I watered them in. Okay, guys, it is early Saturday morning. It's really windy out here. The wind is about 17 miles an hour. So it'll be a good time for me to plant most of these onions. This onion set is called Yellow Ebenezer. And you're supposed to have about 80 in here. I counted them and took the bad ones out. It's actually over 100 of them. Now, these onions won't grow past 12 inches tall as far as the green stalk or stem of the onion. And you should plant them pointed side up around 1 to 2 inches in the soil. And they're not going to be a really large onion, so you can put them about 4 to 6 inches apart. Now, as I said previously, I'm not growing the onions to harvest. I'm growing them to repel insects. One thing I need to point out to you is never plant onions around beans and peas. They don't grow well together or delay the growth of your peas and beans. Everywhere else you can plant them, even with your flowers. You see here I have some marigolds and some zinnias popping up. I'm gonna put a couple onions in there too, because this is next to the rocking chair right outside of the door of the patio, and I like to sit in this chair so I don't want a lot of insects around me. And then next, I'm going to plant some all in this. I'm going to go closer so you can see all those beautiful strawberries that are getting ready to ripen. Onions is the best thing that I've known throughout the years that I've been gardening to keep slugs off of your strawberries. So I'm going to get to planting, and I'm going to video everything, but I will go back and share with you where I put them. Oh, one more thing I want to tell you about tomatoes. Some gardeners don't believe that you should plant onions around tomatoes, and some believe you shouldn't plant garlic around them. However, I do. I don't have any issues with it, and so I'm going to continue to do that. You all know I like to get my hands in the dirt, so I'm just going to stick my finger down here, and that's going to be about an inch or two, and I'm gonna put the pointed side up, push the bulb down, and then just cover it up. Simple as that. I'm gonna put another one about right here. Can you see that? I'll put the little small ones over here with the flowers, pointed side up, and cover it up. That's it. Okay. So now I'm getting ready to attack the strawberries. I hadn't planned to film me putting the onions in the strawberry bed, but look at those strawberries. I just want you all to see them. I mean, the plant is loaded. These plants. These are Chandler strawberries. I planted them several years ago, bare root. And I just find that they work very well in Texas, and everywhere where you see the ground has been turned over, that's where I put an onion. So I'm just going to put a few more. See, I could get one right in here. Cover it up. And I can put a couple of them over here in this corner. If you're new to my channel, I have these little forks in here to keep cats out of the garden box. Put one right there. A lot of strawberries over here. I'm just trying to find any space where I can put an onion. There we go. Put one right there. Put a big one right here. Point it up. Cover it up. I put one here already. Making sure. Lots of strawberries. Wish I can get some more in here, but this bed is pretty full. Let's get that little weed out of here. And I think that's about all I'm gonna be able to do. Maybe I can get one in here. I feel something. Ah! Look at there. Trust in God. Put that right there. And I'll get a big onion to put right here. And if I'm lucky, I can put one maybe right there. Yep. There we go. I feel real good. Okay. Wish I could get one over here. Nope. Can I get one here? Nope. Trying to put some in the corners. Okay, so I think that's it. Maybe I can pull up this dead debris right here. Sure can. And get me an onion in here. Yeah, put a big one right there. There we go. Okay, so that's it for the strawberries. I'm gonna put a couple in this container right here. I'm growing zinnias. Put one there. I'm gonna put one right here. Let's put the smaller ones in here. Maybe one right here. A little small one. See that? Pointed side up. And then a little small one right over here. The birds are really humming or singing today. Do you remember a few weeks ago when I topped the peppers? You can see where I cut it off right there so they can be bushier, stronger, and produce more peppers. Well, now they're coming back and you can see. Let me go closer. You can see little peppers starting now. The peppers are strong enough now where they can handle it. The same thing over here. That's where I topped it off. Now I got more peppers. And let me show you a little tip that I use. I take these big leaves off, taking up a lot of energy. We want those to go into the development of the peppers. So I'm just gonna pinch them off. You can cut them off. We don't need all those big leaves there. This will go into the compost. So just put it right down there. Any other big fat leaves, you don't need them. Now we're developing peppers. This is what we want. Okay, so I'm gonna put some onions all around my peppers. I'll just show you a few of them. I'm gonna move the mulch back as I put a heavy layer of mulch in here. Let me get this. You know what? I need some worm castings. I'll be right back. I'm gonna move some of this mulch from here and put it over in here so I can get down to the good soil. There we go. Good soil right in there. Get me some worm castings. Mix that up in there. And get me an onion in there, a big one. Cover it up with soil. And then the mulch. All around this pepper plant, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll be back when I'm finished. Got the peppers done on this side and my zinnias. I didn't put but a few onions in here. I think I put 6 in each pepper container. Yeah, and now I'm gonna move over to this side. Getting it in. Here's another tip as I am planting my onions and applying the worm castings with the kelp and the rock dust in it, I'm going along and I'm deadheading my marigolds. If the flower has spent, go ahead and pull it off and put these seeds anywhere. You don't have to wait until they dry out. Marigolds is one that will self-seed. So like right here, I'm just gonna go ahead on and put these seeds, see them? All down there. I'm just gonna scratch the soil up a little bit and let them go ahead on and come up again. But I'm gonna push this mulch back right over in here so that I can put some onions. And I'll be back after I do all of the tomatoes. I feel the need to share something else with you. While I'm planting the onions, I'm going around the base of all of my tomato plants and pepper plants, and I am putting that worm castings around them as well. Just scratching it in. You don't have to, but I like to feel my hands in the dirt. So I'm just scratching it in, and I mixed this up real good with the soil, and now I'm gonna put some onions here. Pointed side up, don't forget. Pointed side up, about 4 inches apart. I could put one right over in here. And then I'm gonna cover it up with soil. Okay, everybody, this concludes this video. I tried my best to include things that I thought would be helpful for you to use in your gardens. Please like and subscribe and share this video if you can. Thanks for watching. You know that I love you and God loves you too. Bye now.
Bye.